Good morning and happy Monday, folks. It is the Monday after the 4th of July, and I gotta say, and I mentioned this I mentioned this a couple days ago. After 4th of July, summer just seems kind of dull. I mean, the days are still hot, and if you're a kid, it's great because you're off of school. But nothing truly significant happens, barring like some kind of like birthday party, or I don't know, maybe there's like a festival taking place somewhere you want to go to, or unless you're planning a trip. That's something else that's pretty eventful. I mean, I'm heading to Colorado in just a couple of weeks, but again, that's a couple of weeks from now. It's gonna be kind of boring till then. But I'll worry about that when I get to that. Let's get to my low behind my act of kindness. What is my low? You know what? I'll just say that my low is I'm just sad this weekend was over. I mean, it was great to have a nice, relaxing weekend, especially after a holiday. But, you know, that's the problem with like having a fun weekend. They just end much too soon. At least much too soon for my liking. But that's fine. All good things gotta come to an end anyway, and at this point, a bunch of people have to get back to their normal work lives. I know I certainly do. So, it's nothing really for me to fret on. My high was just spending the weekend with my family. Especially like, yesterday. I went for like boat rides, went in the water. I think I got some color. I'll be honest, I never see if I have any color at all. I never see if I have any color at all. It's actually it freaks me out a little bit if like I have like any color whatsoever. Well, that freaks me out, but I'd be surprised if I did. And my act of kindness was, well, the main thing is I made sure that my nephews were safe. That was, truly my act of kindness. Because here's the thing, I have two parents, specifically my nephews that have two grandparents, and there's three of them. So, I mean, I will admit, I am as lazy can be. Like, I only step in if I absolutely need to. But, my mom especially has acknowledged that having another set of eyes, that's definitely a great thing. Actually, let me get my computer set up real fast. Honestly, right now, you know what? That's not true. I meant to talk about this just the other day. And it has been a while since I continued the video games I grew up with series that I'm doing. And no kidding, I literally had like a dream of like being a kid in my room way back then, N64 controller in hand, and just mashing the A button like crazy, as well as mashing the R button like crazy, because I was playing Star Fox 64, which, you know what? Again, I have a video games I grew up with series, Star Fox, which, I mean, Star Fox 64, well, I also played Star Fox, the Star Fox 64, Star Fox Adventures, and Star Fox Assault. I'll get to Assault at the end. Because, I will never forget, how much of an impact, Star Fox 64 had on the N64 system as a whole. I mean, don't get me wrong, They're game like Mario 64 and Mario Kart, you know, Ocarina of Time. Those games will have to set the test of time. Although I do need to work on that Legend of Zelda one because that one's going to be a particularly fascinating one for me. But regarding Star Fox, like I will never forget like how much time invested that I especially had into that game. I mean, my brother all but beat the game multiple times on his own, but the only thing he never really did was get all of the medals. I actually got all of the medals and well, not all. I mean, there's a few that my brother got. My brother got the one for Fortuna. He got the one for Sector X. And he unknowingly got the one for Venom, the very last level of the game. But all the other medals he didn't even try doing. And the way games work is in Star Fox 64, you travel from planet to planet, or in some cases an asteroid field, and a few nebulas, and even a straight up sun. And to get a medal, you need to get like X number of hits in that level to get the medal. Very simple. And Fortuna was hands down the easiest. You only need like 50 in that one. Although the hardest one easily was Sector Z because, you gotta you need to destroy like all the missiles and get like 40 hits. And the thing of it is like, your partner's Slippy, Peppy, and Falco will try and destroy the missiles too, and they'll take those hits away from you. That level's a real pain. But for the most part, I mean, like seriously, just the other day I looked up like old Star Fox 64 videos. Like even like right now, it's just like my screensaver on my computer. Actually, I really couldn't look up the sounds because I'm pretty sure I get copyrighted. But like, closing my eyes, I can picture like just like a full powered like laser just like shooting down enemies, or like holding down the A button to charge your laser to get like a homing bomb or something like that. That was awesome. Not to mention, Star Fox 64 was the first game to introduce the Rumble Pack. If you don't know what the Rumble Pack is, basically the way the N64 controllers worked is the memory cards you could stick them in your controller, and if you like save the game, like the game is saved on that cartridge that's in your controller. The Rumble Pack worked the same way, but it also made the controller rumble as like explosions were happening or you shot down enemies. Like basically it was the Nintendo 64's way of getting you immersed into the game you were playing. And there have been games and really in other video game systems that implemented that feature. But I could argue that like Star Fox 64 was like the first. And between the Rumble Pack and just how fun it was to shoot down enemies, I myself probably played that game for like hours and hours and hours. I mean, I will admit that I was kind of late bloomer because my brother wanted to do like all the hard stuff right away. And I had to work up the courage to do like a lot of the high levels. This is back in that time when I didn't really think I was good at playing video games. And believe me, between my brother and I, we saw like all the bad endings in any possible levels. Like losing Slippy in Sector X due to the secret weapon, the pyramid in Katina blowing up, also the bomb activating on Fortuna thanks to Star Wolf's interference. Like we had the one of the missiles hitting Gray Fox in Sector Z. Technically it isn't a bad ending, but getting spotted by one of the searchlights in Zonus, like we had seen all the bad endings, but we also saw like the best things. And not to mention the dialogue in this game, because it wasn't very often you heard like actual dialogue in video game cartridges. It used to be like a video game cartridge had like only so much memory. And even just a little bit of dialogue took up like 90% of the memory. So by that point, technology had come a long way. I mean, good Lord, what's coming through now? But back then, like this was like really new and kind of interesting. One of my favorite lines of dialogue from Star Fox 64 is in Area 6, which is honestly enough the 6th out of the 7 levels in the game if you want the hard mode. And the opening, it's the opening, like, came in here, no problems. And then like Star Fox shows up, shoots someone, and she's like, do you copy? Emergency maneuvers! And then Falco just shows up like, too late. Game over, pal. I'm like, oh, like, you know what? In the words of Kevin Hart, it's about to go down. And seriously, if you, like, look up Area 6, like Star Fox 64 on YouTube. I'm sure there's like a whole bunch of videos of it. That level is crazy, but in the best possible way. Like, if you are a bona fide button masher, like, this level is your jam. Actually, this entire game is your jam. And, yeah. And it was a good story, too. I mean, very simple premise. Andross is trying to rule the Lilat system. Star Fox is trying to stop him. Pretty cut and dry in the grand scheme of things. I mean, yeah, there's other enemies too, but they're all affiliated with Andross, so it's not like they're their own thing. And sometimes the dialogue in these games, I mean, I mentioned the one Area 6, that one's my favorite, but there's another great one too. Like, if you choose the hard path in Corneria, it's like, who are you guys? We're Star Fox. You'll never defeat Andross. And the boss explodes. It was really cool. Or in Medio, we're like, I can't believe I lost to this scum. Sorry, Jet, but I'm in a hurry. Oh, the one boss in Sector Y, that guy was funny. Is like, don't panic just yet. It's time to try our new weapon. And then, like, when you're shooting them, like, God, you little freaks! Oh my gosh, it was awesome. Actually, one of my favorite levels wasn't an R-Wing level. It was Macbeth, baby, the Landmaster level. Which, I mentioned I actually had a dream I was playing Star Fox 64 in my room. Macbeth was the level I was playing. Actually, the boss in that game is really cool, because, he brings up, I didn't expect to have to use this. You're very lucky. And you can totally just beat that level by shooting the 8 switches, and that's, like, if you want to get the medal in Macbeth, you need to get those 8 switches. Like, just to get the medal, but, you know, I would obviously do a bit better than that. And not to mention, like, I mentioned the Rumble Pack earlier. If you activate the cutscene where you activate all 8 switches and the boss, like, runs into the weapons deposit, the rumbling that controller does, like, I can still feel the rumbling in my hand from holding that controller. That's how crazy. And that was just Star Fox 64. Like, I just barely, listen, there's like a whole bunch of other YouTube channels that talk about just Star Fox 64 ad nauseum alone, so I'll just stop there. I mean, my brother did play Star Fox Adventures, which was the Dinosaur Planet one, and it didn't really get as much love as it should have, simply because, I mean, they wanted to see Star Fox take place in the R-Wing. I mean, there are some R-Wing related things, but I see everyone's complaints. That's why when they came out with Star Fox Assault for the GameCube, I think they perfectly hit that balance of, like, being in the R-Wing a lot, but also, like, being on the ground and doing things. Actually, I really did like Star Fox Assault. Highly underrated, in my opinion. And then, there really wouldn't be another Star Fox game of any notable. Actually, there was, like, that, I forget what Star Fox game was on the DS, but I hear the less you talk about that, the better. Then there was Star Fox Zero. I'll be honest, I could not get into that game. I couldn't figure out the controls. I couldn't figure out how to do a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, the Wii U, as great as the system as it was, even though it's hailed as like not a very good decision by Nintendo, it was a little bit ahead of its time. That's really all it was. But listen, I'm always going to be a fan of Star Fox. I need to start playing video games again. I do. And like, if I ever start playing video games again, and if I'm able to like download N64 and even Nintendo GameCube games, I can think of a few I want to do. Star Fox 64 would be one of them. Actually, I am curious how well it plays on the Switch. I would like to. Actually, there's a lot of games that need to be like either remade or brought to like the Switch. By the way, in case anyone was wondering, I was tempted to get Star Fox 64 for when it came out for the DS. I didn't really consider doing that simply because, I mean, listen, I played it on the N64 ad nauseum. Like, don't get me wrong, the graphics, if you ever see it on, like, just look it up on YouTube. Like, the graphics on the DS are crisp, they're clean. Like, childhood me would have loved this, would have loved it. But one of the only flaws of the Nintendo DS was as the games got better and better, there kind of needed to be a bigger demand of just playing those games on a much bigger screen. Like, I haven't played Pokemon Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet. I'm sure they're great playing on the Switch, and on the handheld way. But I bet they look amazing on the big screen. So we'll see. We'll see if I can, at some point, get back into doing that. I'll let you know if I ever do it. But yeah, Star Fox 64. Star Fox. That is definitely a sleeper series. Like, if you play video games at all, you've heard of this game, and if you ever played N64, you're either going to have a lot of really good memories, or worst case scenario, you're going to have just okay memories. Because Star Fox 64 was awesome. Star Fox as a series is awesome. I really hope they do more of it someday. I'd love to see more stuff. I hope you like this video. If you like this, subscribe to YouTube channel, on social media. As always, I'm very home in this video. Hope you guys watch the video. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. Remember, guys, want to talk channels, we hit the limit, your back. Take care, make good choices. 607 all day, baby.